Dan back for another edition of Old School Gamers World, and we're talking classic video game moments. This week we're talking when Lara Croft first died in the original Tomb Raider on PlayStation. I know you remember it, first Tomb Raider game, when Lara Croft first fell and plummeted to her death. A classic video game moment. Tomb Raider gave you a heroine. It was a revolutionary game. It broke down boundaries, set new trends for generations of games to come. A badass heroine who pushed around the dudes in the game, shot them up, beat them up, kicked major butt, okay? All the horny boys wanted to play with Lara, and she had this huge polygon rack. It's just hilarious. And all the girls wanted to be Lara in the game, I assume. So Tomb Raider was a platforming puzzle game at heart, and like all great platforming games, you get the leap across giant distances from one platform to another. Hence the name. And Lara Croft had this unique way of jumping. First of all, you got to have a running start, right? And she would run and leap, and just her legs would be wide open like nothing you've ever seen before. And every time she jumped, she'd make this super sexual noise. Like it was her greatest pleasure in the world to jump across this gap for you. That could have been the classic defining moment, the sexual screaming. But no, like all great platforming games, you don't always make your jumps. And Lara Croft was no different. First, you're upset because you died and you have to restart, which in Tomb Raider could be pretty far back and quite challenging. But this is the first jump, so it's early on. Then you're in awe as you hear every bone in her body crack at once. And then you just kind of laugh and cry as you stare at the heap of body parts that was Lara in this nicely organized pile of bones on the floor. And the camera swirls as the game resets, and you just stare at the back of her head on top of a pile of bones. Lara Croft missed her first jump, and now you get to stare at a heap of bones. Crack, 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 crack. They all broke at once. A truly classic moment in video game history when Lara missed her first jump in Tomb Raider. This has been Old School Gamers World. I'm Dan. Make sure you come back for another classic moment throughout the world of video games.